Well, before we calm everybody down, or at least Ted Jenkin with Oxygen Financial calms everyone down, let's first say happy birthday. And there's nothing better than a birthday present like the Dow crashing 1,000 points in the first 10 minutes to a money guy.
That's a quality birthday gift.
So happy birthday to you, Ted Jenkin. And also, a cake. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Woo! Ted. Happy birthday, dear Ted. Ted. Happy birthday to you.
Hold on. I can't wait to see what wish. What do you want? 2,000 points down? What's your wish? Here we go. Oh.
Wow, that's one hell of a blow.
Wow.
Yeah. Also, we got you this. That's not only a cookie cake.
There we go.
But you got you another prize there.
Little prize. Prize.
Oh, this is nice.
You're going to need that after this week.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, whoa.
Shit. Bottle of dark liquor right there.
Woodford Reserve. This is nice.
And there's a card with a lot of, a little love in the card, too.
Just remember, if you call...
guys are too kind.
Stop the madness.
If you call Oxygen Financial today, Ted's going to be eating cake drunk. All right, so explain this. It reminds a lot of people of 2008 when the stock market crashed. When I say crash, I'm not talking about, like in the late 20s, 30s crash, but I'm just saying it crashed. It killed you, and you go like immediately to your 401k if you have one, and you're going, oh my God, the world's coming to an end, and then it eventually bounces back. But those that have 401ks that do dabble in the stock market, that have money there, and then those that don't, but are worried if this will affect them, cover both of those and calm everyone down.
And is it a good time to buy?
Well, let's just talk about the people that do. First of all, there's no free lunch to investing. The fact is that if you invest in the stock market, you should have a minimum of a 5-year time frame. So there's a lot of people where it does become gambling is if you try to invest for 6 months and you expect to make a lot of money. The stock market, just like real estate and other equity investments, is a long-term game. So don't worry about it. If you're in your 401k and you're in your 30s or 40s and you've got 10 or 15 years to retirement, you have a long time for this to be able to bounce back. So do not worry about that. I will tell you one statistic that I pulled up is that since 1900, the S&P 500 has declined by more than 10%, 35 times. 35 times, guys, and the average recovery time has been 10 months.
So, but that's better than what I thought. I heard some kind of statistic like this is the 8th worst drop in history of the world, blah, blah.
Well, when it comes to number of points, that may be true, but not necessarily percentages, right? So people hear 561 points.
And that's a media spin.
Okay. Well, that's the other thing that I put out a letter last night to a lot of our clients. And I said, look, you have to be careful of what you hear in the media because the media tends to sensationalize this stuff, right? They love words like crisis and plunge. Plunge, jumping off the top of a building, like you're saying, you plunge to your death. Yeah. This is technically just a small technical correction right now. Steve, it's a great buying time. When do you buy things most in life? When they're on what?
When they're on clearance.
When they're on sale, right?
Buy low, sell high.
So you have to look for opportunities now where things are on sale and you buy them. You do with real estate and everything else when it drops.
So for somebody that's listening right now that, a lot of friends, they have a few dollars in the bank. They need that in case of a situation, and they've always wanted to invest their money, but were unable to use that, because it just wasn't the right time.
So anywhere between $3,000 and $10,000, and they could put some in right now.
Because the average amount of money the average American has in savings is like $2,200.
Yep.
It's pretty low. This would be a good time to get some good stocks that will eventually rebound and in the future make money off of that, right?
Oh, absolutely. When stocks are down 10, 20, some of them in the Dow Jones are down as much as 30% this year. Those are great opportunities to buy those stocks. And, I was on 400 this morning, and I was in a lot of traffic, and I was thinking to myself, here's what happens to a lot of people and their money, Jason. They're in the left-hand lane, and it's at a complete standstill, and they get anxious. So what they do is they try to jockey themselves all the way over to the right-hand lane because it appears to be moving faster. Then as soon as they get in that right-hand lane, guess what happens?
Bottlenecks up.
The left-hand lane now looks like it's moving faster than their lane. So
good analogy.
Right? You want to make sure that you have a diversification plan, some money in each of these lanes, because sometimes some lanes are going to move faster and some are going to move slower. And so in times like this, the stock market's been on a tremendous run the last 6 or 7 years, and it was due for a small pullback.
All right, so now Ted Jenkin, Oxygen Financial. You've talked to people that deal with the Wall Street, the stocks, that might want to deal with it. Now I want you to talk to individuals that have no desire to do this, but go to work every day, bust their ass 9 to 5, and they're wondering if this whole thing that they know very little about is going to affect when they get home to their families.
What about the guy that says, I don't have any money in the stock market, so I don't really have a dog in the fight? But you do, because if your company's stock value goes down and it stays down for a while, guess what that company might do?
Start firing people.
Well, they still have to meet Wall Street expectations. So that means they may cut cost. They may cut commissions if you're a salesperson.
It's always cutbacks.
Right? And those cutting of those expenses could affect your overall income in your family. And then on the other side, if they can't cut expenses, then those companies might have to raise what? Prices. And that means you as a consumer on the other side of this might see higher prices at companies because they are not going to miss Wall Street expectations, believe me.
What about a self-employed individual, a guy that owns his own lawn care service, or a guy that owns his own drywall company that doesn't work for the man? How's that going to affect him?
Listen to me. I will say this loud and clear, and I'll say it on the radio because I'm a small business owner myself. Now's the time to double down on your marketing, right? When things are down, that's not the time to cut your marketing costs. That's the time to take market share from your competitors.
There you go. Go and get it. And covering all that kind of stuff, from business and everything, because it is a tumultuous time for a lot of people. A lot of people are freaking out. And I didn't knee jerk. I don't think Jason did. A lot of people held up their money, and I appreciate what Oxygen did. Sent a letter telling us all to chill out. Thank you. That actually helped me sleep. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. But what about interest rates? What's going to happen right now? Like if somebody's looking to refi their house, is this dip going to affect? Are we going to have low interest rates for another year or two?
I don't think you're going to see a dramatic. That's part of the issue that's gone on right now. Is the Fed has been very uncertain about what they're going to do with interest rates,
whether to hike them back up. Or not.
I would say look, from my opinion, it's not going to be more than a quarter point at the most, which is hardly anything, and it may actually stay flat. They may actually do nothing right now, so I don't see a huge spike in interest rates right now.
Real quick, is this going to spread to housing or other places like it did in 2008?
I don't see it in housing short term here in the next year or two, but eventually, like anything else, those that have been buying a lot of real estate, things just don't go north forever, right? There's going to be a pullback at some point in real estate as well. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen immediately, but these things go in cycles. Over the long term, it's like you don't move into your house and expect, hey, if my house goes down $50,000 of value, are you going to sell it tomorrow? No. So you haven't lost anything yet unless you do what? Sell.
Yeah.
Right? So
stop asking me questions when I don't know the answers.
Bailey, you think you bought your house too early? You think you should have waited to this crash?
Oh, I'm a squatter. I don't actually own the house. Actually, it's one of Ted Jenkin's 5 properties. He just doesn't know I'm in there.
Way to go. Way to go, bro.
Good luck throwing them out.
Good deal.
Yeah, the law's on my side, kiddo.
2 crying kids.
How can people find you, Ted? Because today they need to.
Well, I got to tell you something. Last night I stayed up late. I put together a guide, especially for listeners, on 5 smart money moves to make right now. So if you go to oxygenfinancial.net, we'll get you out the guide today, and hopefully we can help your family do better.
And we'll tweet that out and everything from the show stuff as well. Very important. So not everybody's freaking out.
It's a big day.
Hate to see you jump 5 floors for no reason.
I don't even think you die at 5 floors. I think you just break legs forever, shatter them.
Well, that's the worst case scenario.